Hi students, let us continue with the different types of keys. So far we have discussed about the super key, candidate key, primary key. Now let us see what is a foreign key. So actually the foreign key is any key you call it as an attribute. The first thing is whatever the key, that a key is an attribute. So here a foreign key is an attribute which establish relationship between two tables. Let me write. So foreign key is an attribute which establish relationship between two tables. Between any two tables. So a foreign key, you call it as, it is a field or a collection of fields in one table that refers to that primary key in another table. Suppose one table is there, that is a parent table. In the parent table, if one key is acting as a primary key, if you are using that key in another table, means if you are using that attribute in another table, so that table field you call it as a foreign key. So foreign key is a field or collection of fields, means it is an attribute or a collection of attributes is in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. So the table containing the foreign key, you call it as a child table, and the table containing the primary key or the candidate key is called as a reference or a parent table. So let me explain with an example, then you will understand what is a foreign key. Suppose this is a person table, that is a relational name is a person, and I'm taking another table as a order table, orders table and the persons table. So here this is, I call it as a parent table. The fields in that are person ID and last name, the person last name, first name and his age. So coming to the fields, a person ID is 1 and the last name is, I'm taking as any name Hari, G is the initial and his age is 30. And the order person ID 2, Raghu, P is the initial and his age is 32. And the person ID 3, Priya, first name is A and his age is 34. So this is a person table. Let me write the order table. Orders, order ID, order number. These are the attributes or you call it as a fields. Person ID. So here the person ID and the same, I'm calling ID from this table to here. So order ID is, I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4 orders are there. Suppose anything 3, 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 7, 4, anything, the order ID. And coming to the person ID, 3, 3, 2, 1. So, now I am calling this as a parent table. Parent table or you call it as a reference table. Why I am calling this as a reference table? Because this table is referred by this table. I am calling this person ID in this table. So, because that's why this is a reference table and parent table or reference table, and whereas order table is the child table. So then where will be the foreign key here? Here this person ID you call it as a primary key in parent table. The person ID should be unique. So no redundant data should be allowed here. So this is a unique 1, 2, 3. So this person ID is a primary key in the parent table. I'm calling this person ID in the order table. So whereas the person ID here acts as a foreign key, whereas in the parent table it acts as a primary key, and coming to the child table it acts as a foreign key. I hope you understand. So a foreign key is an attribute which establish a relationship between two tables. So here a connection will be there between these two tables, because of this is a parent table and this is a child table. In the parent table, the person ID is acting as a primary key, whereas in the child table it is acting as a foreign key. Here the redundant data is allowed, means a multiple IDC order ID is 1. So the person 3 is ordering one item and his order number is this. Again the person 3 is ordering another item and order number is this. And the second person is ordering third item and the first person is ordering the fourth item. So he may order multiple orders. A single person can order multiple orders. So that's why this is a foreign key. So the only thing here you have to remember that in the parent table, whatever the primary key you are accessing in the another table, the second table is that primary key is acting as a foreign key. It's a reference. Let me write some point, then I'll take another example for you to clearly understand. So records, the one thing you have to be remember that while you're using the primary key in another table and that key is acting as a foreign key, the points you have to be remember that records cannot be inserted into a detail table. So detail table means it's nothing but it's a child table, means everything details will be there in another table. So records cannot be inserted into a detail table if corresponding record in the master table, that is a parent table, master table does not exist. Okay, so if records cannot be inserted into detail table if corresponding record in the master table does not exist. Suppose if it is not there in the master table, you are not supposed to insert here. So here if I insert the 4, person ID 4, but here the 4 is not there in the parent table. So the records cannot be inserted in the detail table, that is a child table, if the person does not exist in the master table. So insertion is not allowed, only here is allowed. In this reference child table, the insertion is not allowed until here it doesn't exist. Okay, if it is exist, you can insert. If it is not exist, you cannot insert that value in the child table. And another point is record of a master table. So what is the means the parent table? The master table cannot be deleted. You cannot delete the item in the master table if corresponding record in the detailed, that is a child table, actually exist. So if it is already exist in the child table, you are not supposed to delete in the parent table. So let me explain these points with an example. So here I am taking the two tables. The main aim here is I want to explain you what is a foreign key exactly. What are the rules you have to follow while you are creating a foreign key. So course ID and the course name. This is one table. Okay. So this is a course table. I am calling it as a course table. And I am taking another table. So which is a student table. So this is a student table and this is a course table. The fields in the student table is student ID, first name, last name and the course ID. Okay. So let me take some field. The course ID is AA04, CC02, P301 and S042. So these are the different courses. So all are different. So here I am taking this course ID as a primary key. So whenever here the underline is there, that is nothing but it is that field is a primary key in this table. So this is a master or parent table. Master or a parent table. So the course name for AA0, this is accounts. CC0 is the computers. History. Short course. So these are some course names. So now coming to the child table. So the student table is a child table or detail table. So the student ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. So here Jim, Pop, Sam, Bob. So these are the first names of that particular students, and something like XYZ last name. PQR, something like that. I'm writing it's your wish. So these are the last names, and coming to the course ID 00C002 A004, again C002 S042. So these are the course ID. So in this table, student ID is the primary key. Maybe this table will be act as a foreign key for the another table. Okay, but here the student ID is a primary key in this table, and coming to the course ID is already a primary key in the parent table. So now it is a foreign key. I hope you understand. This is a master table and this is a child table. I am accessing this course ID in another table. So whereas in first table it is acting as a primary key, and coming to the second table, this primary key will act as a foreign key because the reference, it is referenced by the another table. And here in this table, the student ID is the primary key. Maybe this access to another table acts as a foreign key. Okay. So here, these are all the unique values 1, 2, 3, 4 because these are the primary keys. Now coming to the foreign key C02, the student ID 1 is using a course C002, means he is joined in the computer course. Student ID roll number 2, he is joined in the accounts. And the student number roll number 3, that is a Sam, is again joined in the computers, means he is another person. And student number 4 S00, he joined in the short course. So here the two students are joined in the computer course and one is accounts and the short course. So this key is a foreign key, whereas it is the primary key in the parent table. Now what the points here explain? The records cannot be inserted into a detailed table. You are not supposed to insert values here, detailed table, until if the corresponding record in the master does not exist. Okay, suppose if I want to insert student number roll number 5, some names, and his course is like this, suppose a new course PH05. Okay, so the student ID, he is joined in the course PH05. So which course he is joined? So we checked in the parent table. Is the PH05 is exist here? No. So it is a fake. Okay, means the student roll number 5, he is joined in some other course which is not related. Okay, so that's why the records cannot be inserted into detailed table if the corresponding record in the master actually exists. Okay, if it is exist, then you can insert here. If it is not exist in the master, you are not supposed to insert here. So insertion is not possible in the master. Now coming to the second point, record of the master table cannot be deleted if corresponding record in the table, detailed table actually exists. Suppose if you want to delete this, okay, suppose you removed in the master, but still it is exist in the child table. So whenever the student ID roll number 4 wants to join in the short course, means he's with the help of the course ID he is checking S042 means which course. So coming to the parent table, he is checking here, but S042 is not exist here because it is deleted. So this is false. So you are not supposed to delete. If you want to delete this, you delete this also. Means you asked that person to remove from the log. Means this course, short course, was cancelled. So you can join in another course. You can say like, means you are completely deleting this row. If you delete this row, if you want to insert here, again this here also that value should be present. Okay, so these are the points you have to follow while you are using the primary key and the foreign key. The only thing is, records cannot be inserted in this child table if the corresponding record in the master table does not exist. In the same way, the records of the master table cannot be deleted if the corresponding record in the detailed table is actually exist. So these are the points you have to be followed while you are creating the foreign key. So let me write some points. So actually the points you have to remember that the parents must be unique or a primary key. Let me write. So the parent must be unique or primary key. At the same time, a child table, that is the detail table. The child may have duplicates. So that I said, the foreign key may have duplicates. But the primary key does not allow the duplicate value. So child may have duplicate or null unless it's specified. Unless it is specified, you can access the null values or the duplicate values in the foreign key. So that's why here I access the duplicate values C002, C002. So in the previous example also, I access the roll number person ID 3 twice, because the foreign key allows the duplicate values as well as the null values if it is specified. Now, constraints specified on child, not in the parent. So always the constraints should be specified to the child only. Means you cannot insert the value of parent if parent does not exist. If the parent does not exist, the child table cannot insert values. Means the constraints means conditions. A condition is specified only on child, not on parents. Okay, always if you take we are the parents, so we are giving some constraints to the child. So until we supposed to give the permissions, they are not supposed to access that. Okay, so the constraints always specifies to the child, not for the parent. And next point, parent record can delete only if no child record exists. So if the child record is not exist, you can remove that value in the parent also. So if it is exist in the child, suppose if your child is using something, means if some child is using using any dress or anything, any item, if he is using, the parent is not supposed to remove that item, remove that anything, the cosmetic or the anything. Okay, suppose if the child is not supposed to use that, if the child does not want that, you can remove that in the parent also. Means the parent can delete that item, he can remove that item. So that is, the parent record can delete only if no child record exists. And the next point, parent cannot modify if child record exists. So these are the points you have to be followed while you are creating the primary keys, the foreign keys. Thank you.